Mossad, the Israeli external intelligence agency, had bombed their own embassy.
Mr. Minister, Paul Cisco from WTN. Do you have just one comment at all on this London bombing? I haven't got many details, but...
Well, it looks like that the Hamas and Hezbollah again decided to renew terror abroad, and we shall have to take the most severe measures to put an end to it.
Basically, there was an attack against the Israeli embassy in London in July 1994. And the Israelis had been hassling for increased protection around their embassy in London for the preceding few months because there had been a couple of other big attacks against their interests around the world. Now, MI5 had no intelligence to suggest that any Arab terrorist groups were planning an attack against the Israeli embassy. London had traditionally been a sort of safe haven for Middle Eastern groups because they were given a certain amount of freedom of expression and things. So they didn't think they had either the capability or the intent to carry out an attack in London. So the Israelis were getting quite frustrated about this. They were also, because of this safe haven idea, getting increasingly frustrated at a political network which had been set up by a bunch of immigrant Palestinians. And it was doing very well. I mean, they were really raising awareness about their people's plight. They were raising money and funds and sending them back to the Middle East to help them. So a bomb goes off
in London in 1994, where a car bomb exploded outside the Israeli embassy in the centre of London. Yeah.
Anyone hurt or killed? I don't remember.
Very minor injuries, that was all. Okay. Nobody was killed. And it was a very sophisticated device. It appeared to eat itself, eat all the forensics. Now, this is very, very rare. So it looked like a, sort of fairly technical person had put that together. But what emerged from that, the senior MI5 officer...
his code name was G91.
Who was in charge of the investigation into it and had seen all the evidence but also all the intelligence, which isn't necessarily admissible in court, wrote his formal assessment at the end of the case, and he said he reckoned that Mossad, the Israeli external intelligence agency, had bombed their own embassy. Sort of controlled explosion outside the embassy. And as I said, that was a senior MI5 officer. That was his formal verdict. If you read that on the internet now, you would say that sounds like some mad conspiracy theory. But it wasn't. This was the official position of MI5. And he said that they did it for two reasons. One, they were always hassling MI5 for increased security around their embassy and other interests in London. And MI5 kept saying, well, there's no reason to increase the threat assessment. You don't need extra protection. So letting off a controlled explosion outside, of course, they immediately got what they wanted there. But crucially, two innocent Palestinians were arrested, charged and convicted of conspiracy to cause that attack. And they were very active in a Palestinian support network in London, political campaigning for the people on the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. And they were gaining some traction in the media. They were getting quite a lot of support. So by arresting these people and framing them for an attack and sticking them in prison, the whole network just shattered.
Two innocent Palestinians were picked up. They were part of this support network. And they were subsequently convicted not of the attack because they had cast iron alibis, but they were convicted of conspiracy to cause this attack. And it looks like they were set up, they were fitted up, because there was a shadowy figure called Rida Maghrabi who kept swimming in and out of their story. He was never traced, even though he was the one that bought the car that the bomb was in. He's the one who was, all asking them to put themselves in certain places at certain times, which led to the circumstantial case against them, which led to their convictions. But nobody bothered to try and trace him. And I think he was probably an Israeli agent.